this is a welterweight contest that came out of left field, man. Tim Means, he had a scheduled bout recently, and I think it fell through, and I don't remember who exactly it was. Do you have that off the top of your head, AJ?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's okay. But he gets Nicolas Dalby. And I'll tell you, the dude he was supposed to fight before is a complete different stylistic composure than a Nicolas Dalby, who is very much like a Gunnar Nelson karate Wonder Boy style. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the Dirty Bird minus 165 favorite with a plus 140 comeback for Nicolas Dalby. And this is another one where it's a very close matchup, I believe personally, because Tim Means, if there's anything we know about him, especially in this advanced stage of his career, is he's looking to walk forward, clinch you up, grapple you up, dirty box, and not let you be out at range and just pick you apart from the outside. I think he has so much experience, he just wouldn't necessarily allow that to happen. But let me just ask you before we really break this down, AJ, how big of a fan are you of Nicolas Dalby, if at all? Because I'm a huge fan of this dude. I think that he's definitely progressed as he's grown in the UFC. He doesn't have that many fights, probably like 6 fights in the UFC or 7 or something like that. But I love that karate style, man. This dude uses his movement so well. It's so beautiful to watch. What do you think?
I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan of Dalby himself, but I am definitely a fan of the way he fights, man. And he just in my mind, he just needs to get a little bit more recognition, a little bit better names under his belt. But that Daniel Rodriguez fight was absolutely insane, man. I love that, like you said, that karate style, that long, lanky, bounces in and out, strikes, blitzes. He's got an amazing front leg, man. He can kick you out of nowhere and uses it like a jab. One of my first, mixed martial arts ventures was karate. So it's always, it's a home spot for me. Anytime I see a striker that can do it as proficiently as Dalby, man, he's smooth too. Very smooth, very slick, and he can sting, man. So overall, I would say, yes, I am a fan of Dalby, more so a fan of his style than himself and his actual character and persona and all that. But I definitely think he's on the come up, and he can definitely make a name for himself with a seriously big win against the Dirty Bird, man.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with you, but it's not going to be easy to get a win against Tim Means, especially, like I said, with his style. It's just this clash of styles is very interesting, and I honestly believe that Tim Means has never fought anybody like a Nicolas Dalby. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he's fought any karate guys. Like, his most notable wins, he got a big win over Saba Hamasi. You know what I mean? He's in Bellator now. He's not in UFC anymore. That was a very, very big win. Interesting style, right? In his last 5, he got a win against Mike Perry, which, let's be honest, that's a plotter. You know, it's a dude who's just going to kind of walk forward like a zombie legitimately. And the film study I went back to kind of see, like, okay, how does he fare against a dude who throws crazy kicks? I watched his fight against Starpoli, right? Luriano Starpoli. And one thing that I did notice is that Tim Means does a really great job at not letting you stay out at kicking range, because you're right, Nicolas Dalby has a great teep kick, man. He uses that thing like a jab. He throws in, it's just really interesting because he's I've never heard of this, AJ, and I didn't really do too much to research it, but I wrote it down. He is a Ashihari Karate Green Belt. You ever heard of anything like that? I like it, though. It sounds cool. I like it. You know what I'm saying? He's a multiple-time regional champion at 170, man. And listen, BJJ brown belt. That's where it gets interesting in this matchup, right? Let's say Tim Means says, I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to throw you on the ground. Nicolas Dalby has been put on his butt before. He has a takedown defense of 63%. But with that being said, he showed a willingness himself to actually clinch on the offensive, right? So what do you think about that, AJ? It's one thing, apologies, got some ruffling going on over here, apologies, but it's one thing to sit there and be like, okay, I'm not really good on when I'm being my back pressed up to the fence, right? Just like you'll see a wrestler who is really good in top control, but they suck when their back is on the ground, right? So Dalby is really good when he's pressing his opponents up against the cage, but not very good at all when he gets pressed up. And Daniel Rodriguez did that exactly. He was like, all right, bro, I'm tired of hitting you or not hitting you, and you keep hitting me, and it's getting annoying. I'm just going to press you up against the cage and just hold you there so I can know where you're at, right? What are the odds of that happening in this matchup? You think Tim Means has the juice for 3 full rounds to do that to Nicolas Dalby?
Oh yeah. That right there. That's what I think the game plan is for Tim Means. Anytime you're fighting a dangerous striker, you either get in or get out. You don't play that middle game and risk it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're looking for your own KO knockout. But that's not Tim Means, man. He's gonna make it dirty. He's gonna make he's the Dirty Bird. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna make that fight very interesting, very gritty. I'm expecting him to put him up against the fence, fight in that dirty little boxing zone that we like to see Tim Means do, and kind of control the match, man. Even with Dalby being a late fight replacement, I don't think it's going to change much just because Tim Means is so experienced. You know, it might be a completely different fighter, but Tim Means has been through so many camps. I mean, he's 31-12-1 with 1 no contest. So horrible math off the top of my head. That's somewhere around, 48, 49 fights. I can't do the exact math, but it's around there, brother. And that's really, He's very experienced. He's been in the UFC since 2012, and he can fight multiple styles and multiple fights, different kind of ways. But I'm really expecting him to make this one a dirty, close, up against the fence, grind out match. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you, Mal. Here's one thing that I didn't mention, and I'm just pulling this up really quickly because I did want to see who exactly he was supposed to fight. Danny Roberts, that's who Tim Means was supposed to fight. Danny Roberts does not nearly have any type of style close to this karate style, bro. But I will say this, man. Nicolas Dalby has great lateral movement, man. If you notice, he's always moving in a big circle in the cage. Big circle. And Tim Means, sometimes he gets caught following, right? But he does prefer to keep the fight in boxing range. Now, the question is, can Nicolas Dalby, who is very jumpy, right? He has that kind of stance. Can he maintain it for 3 rounds? And then we look at, the history, we watch the film study, and what do we find? He gets a little flat-footed when it gets to that 3rd round. So I'm going to be honest with you, AJ. I do think Tim Means has a very, very likely opportunity to win this matchup. I think that is probably, the odds should be in his favor. However, with that being said, Nicolas Dalby, man, you can't put someone away. You can't grab them when they're moving all, the entire fight. And I think Nicolas Dalby, that's his X factor right there, is that his movement is impeccable. He's getting better cardio by each fight that progresses. And it's kind of the same situation, AJ. Do you get my logic when I say this? It's kind of the same situation as in the last fight, where it's like, what are the odds that Jay Herbert can just keep it at distance and not get put on his butt? You know what I mean? It's kind of the same situation with Dalby, except everybody who fights Dalby has the same game plan, just like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I don't know if you've been listening to his interviews recently, but he says, I kind of don't really have to switch on my game plan because everyone tries to do the same thing against me. Put me on my butt, don't let me fight out of distance. And I think that karate style is so unique, and if you could utilize it very, very strategically and well, man, it's a very, very hard puzzle to solve. So with that being said, do you got anything else on this matchup, AJ?
Yeah, no, man. I'll just go ahead and give you my pick right away because I'm with you with 100% on how this whole thing is kind of breaking down. I think the way that Tim Means is going to want to look for a win is he's going to use that jab to go for a takedown, get the finish as early as possible. I think if Dalby's going to look for a win, it's going to be in those middle round, the middle round, round 2, to kind of where he's still a little fresh. Tim Means is still trying to figure out his way to get on the inside, and maybe Dalby lands some, crazy spectacular KO, something like that. I don't really see him getting the win by judges or points, or any early late wins for Dalby. So I'm going with the Dirty Bird submission, round 1. Tim Means gonna get it done, brother. Who you got?
All right, well, let me just give this little caveat of information before I give my pick, man. I just talked about takedown defense and all that stuff of Dalby. It's always improving. He is, in his UFC tenure, he is 3-0 when he is not taken down. He is 1-2 in fights where he is taken down. So that takedown is a very big indicator on whether he can get the job done or not. Lastly, all his opponents, they have the most success when they get him to stop moving, aka clinch him up. Say, hey, man, you ain't going nowhere, right? Even with all that being said, man, I love this dude's wide array of kicks, and one thing Tim Means needs to watch out for is not to get lulled to sleep by the kicks, because Nicolas Dalby will bring in that step-in right cross, and he got some pop on it. I'm going Nicolas Dalby. I'm going a decision to win. However, it's gonna be tough as hell to get this win. I will be honest on that one.